where I was a hostage negotiator and ended up going to an incident that was just pretty bizarre. So those things do happen for sure.
I think you began the book with that incident. This was a woman, obviously very distraught, sort of dangling her baby over the railing of a motel up on the third floor or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to share that with us?
Yeah. So I was working as a hostage negotiator, a suicide mediator in what's called the critical incident team. Back then it was called the mental health team. And we would get called out on all persons who are having emotional distress. A lot of times these were people that had mental illness that we had history on, or people that were going to, depression and commit suicide. That sort of thing. Cops would get there, realize, oh, this is not a drug issue. This is not an alcohol issue. This is a mental health issue. Let's get a critical incident team member over. In this case, SWAT got called out to a woman that was on the third floor of an apartment complex, threatening to kill her newborn. Not newborn, the baby was probably 3 months old. Mm-hmm. Later, she was obviously diagnosed with postpartum depression and had some other issues, but had not had a mental episode prior to this. So she was not in the system. Cops get there. She's holding the baby over. Fire department gets there. They set up a little thing to try to catch the baby below. This is at night. It's pretty late at night. I get called as a negotiator to try to get her to turn over the child to us. When I got there, I saw all the lights, the fire trucks, the ambulance, the cop cars. I get out. I'm in plain clothes. I have a plain closed car, no markings or anything. And I get out and I see the sergeant standing at the bottom of the stairs, the external stairs that go up the outside of the apartment. So I'm walking toward him and I see some people under a tree to my right. I see her up on the third floor on the balcony. She's looking at me and she's holding the baby over. I see some firemen over here. I walk up to the sergeant. Normally you go up and you would make a notification of who you are, because it's a very large agency and we don't know everybody. Make notification of who you are and get a briefing, and then develop some sort of strategic plan on how we're going to do this, what else we're going to need. SWAT was there. Everybody's there. I walk up to the sergeant. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him, and I just walk right by him. I do not have an explanation for the fact that I didn't do everything I just told you I should do. And I have no explanation on why he didn't stop me from going up those stairs, because I'm in plain clothes. He doesn't know who I am. Right. He sees a badge or something, and I just walked right by him. He let me into the inner perimeter at that point. So I walk up the stairs, and they're switchback stairs. I walk up to the landing. I come back and I can see her. And she's now keyed in on me, watching me come up the stairs. And then I don't see her because I'm going back, and I go to the landing and I come back. I see her again. I'm on the third floor. I walk out onto the landing. I take a left, and the apartments are separated with a corridor down the middle. Mm-hmm. And I see an officer standing outside the door. So I walk to that officer, and once again, you should get a briefing or something like that. I'm now in the inner perimeter. I just walk by this person. I think she was a female, but I have no recollection of who this person was. I go into the apartment, TV on the left, a couch and a little coffee table, kitchen to the right, sliding glass door straight in front of me, two cops standing on either side of that with the sliding glass door open. The lady is now on the landing, turned completely around, looking at me. And I walk past that, I think, female officer at the door, walk straight through the sliding glass door between the two officers. I walk straight up to the lady. She hands me the baby. I turn around. I hand it to one of the officers. I turn to her. I give her a hug, and we walk out. We get in my car, and I take her to the state hospital. Never said a word.
Wow. No negotiation necessary. State
hospital, and that was it.
No negotiation necessary.
I didn't say a word.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
couple of months later, I had to be at the state hospital for a probate hearing. They were doing some construction, so I had to go through admin, and then I had to walk through the hospital. So I had to go through a couple of different wards to get to probate court. And as I'm walking through one of the wards, I hear this woman's voice, "You're an angel. You're an angel." And I turn around, there's that lady.
Wow.
And she comes running up to me. She goes, "Oh, you're an angel." And I give her a hug, and I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." You know, she goes, "No." And she stops and she snaps back. "No, you're an angel. You were an angel. You were there to save my baby. I saw you had wings. You had a halo, everything." Dude, you talking about, I'm just looking at her going, so that was her experience. Was when she saw me get out of the car and I was walking up there, all these other people were talking to her, "Come on, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine." All this language was going on, all this pressure and everything. And here's this guy walking out, and apparently she saw that I had big angel wings and a halo and whatever. And man, you just don't ask questions about that. You just take a win for a win. You shrug your shoulders. You go, "I don't know what happened." Was she hallucinating? Psychologists, psychiatrists, scientists would say yes. That was part of her postpartum depression. She was having auditory and visual hallucinations, and that's what was wrong. But what if it wasn't? What if I was being used to correct this situation, whatever the situation is, save the baby, save her from going to prison, whatever the reason is? Those rules that I've referenced earlier, we don't know what those rules are. But when we question them and we stop and don't give relevance to what's happening, I think that's when we lose and diminish those things, those spiritual things within us.
Didn't you encounter her years later at a baseball game or something?
I did, yeah. It was really weird. It was, God, I can't remember how long ago, my timeline. She was there with, I believed it would be her husband. And I was working security at the ball game, and I was in uniform, and I'd walked up on the stairs to the bleachers. It was over, and the crowds were leaving. My job was to stand by the stairs there, make sure everybody's safe and all that stuff. And she turns and sees me. And, it's that really weird, awkward situation where she remembers when she was sick. She remembers when all this happened. Sometimes with people who have a mental episode, they won't remember some of it. It's rare, but she remembered everything. We said hello, and she just kind of leaned forward and said it was real. What I saw was real. And then she turned around and went off back into the crowd to her husband or the guy, whatever is.
Right.
Yeah. So that was at that moment, that was a healthy American female that had gone through something that was so profound that she's never been able to shake it. And she does not care what the psychiatrist or psychologist or sociologist say. Her experience to her was probably one of the most pivotal things in her life, I'm guessing.